Today's short-lived toy line comes to us from Hasbro for a change. It's Air Raiders. The power is in the air. These debuted in 1987 with only one series run. It didn't do very well. There was no cartoon supporting it or anything like that, and it was all revolved around using kind of simple air pumps to make ships fire missiles and fly around. And I distinctly remember the commercials for these, but never really got into it myself. So what we're going to look at today is the Storm Dagger, which is part of the Air Raiders faction. There was basically the good guys and the bad guys, and they were fighting for control of the air. So it's kind of a Spaceballs type thing going on. The entire cover is just an illustration instead of any kind of product shot, but it's pretty accurate to what the toy looks like on the sides of the boxes. From what I can gather, the Air Raiders are the heroes. It's hard to really get a sense of what they look like since their heads just kind of look like some kind of fungal mass here. I'm not really sure what's going on, but we've got two posable action figures. Includes vehicle, 2 Air Raiders soldiers, missile, and air cannon. And it's Hasbro, so some assembly is required. Product shot on the side of the box. You can see they really didn't gloss up these characters much. I'm guessing that's probably exactly what they're going to look like. two shades of naked plastic. Looks like it comes with an air cannon. It's pretty exciting. So the back is a very typical 80s all-over splash of illustrated artwork, and no real labels or anything to tell what any of the other vehicles are. It's got the typical warm colors are the good guys, and the purples and dark colors are the bad guys. Oh, here we go. There's a little bit of story down here. Airlandia. Oh. A distant world where air is more precious than gold, where the cruel tyrants of wind have seized control of all the air. In all caps, every bit of air is under their control. Only the Air Raiders, a band of valiant rebels, dare defy these evil dictators. It wouldn't seem like they would last very long if they have all the air, as listed here, with a convoy of air vehicles. So they're not disputing that, these pumps and everything that the vehicles use are running on air in this universe, which is more precious than gold. And 100% of it is controlled by the tyrants of wind. With a convoy of air vehicles, these brave heroes battle the tyrants, struggling to restore the breath of freedom. Breath. Yeah. A bit of information about the Storm Dagger, which strikes swiftly, silently, and sure. I don't really see... Oh, there they are. There's a couple of them kind of sitting here, motionless, on the battlefield. Crew, Hook and Fitz. 2-man crew performs 48-hour surveillance missions. Endurance tested before in-house flight assignments, trained to withstand severe hardships. Like no air. Vehicle type is a high-speed hover sail, tandem 2-seat fast attack hovercraft. Power plant, air cannon activated single 21,000 ERG vectored thrust turbofan. Maximum speed of 120 knots. Remains aloft for hours, undetectable in glider mode. 2 offensive long-range air torpedoes loaded with specialty airs. Specialty airs? Are they scented, like mint torpedoes? Equipped with rear freeze breeze cannon. Rear freeze breeze cannon. Say that 2 times fast. Armored Kevlar, stabilizer sail, impervious to most armaments. And everything's just specialty air foam darts. That's probably pretty sure thing. Side showing a bit of the air cannon, which is just an air bladder that you stick the ship on and pound it and it goes flying. Or fire a missile the same way. Open this guy up. And it looks like it's mostly just in baggies and sprues. We've got 2 pamphlets in here. This is the air cannon. Field power. The parts bag, which some kind of insert, sticker sheet, and the bits and pieces. So all out of box, you've got all sorts of things. Characters, while the box claimed they were posable, means you can move their arms, which have kind of become soft and spongy. I don't know what kind of joint is going on in there, but they don't want to stay anywhere. And their legs move. The detailing on them is really nice and crisp and clean, even though they are just two shades of plastic. And their heads don't turn either. But both of them are exactly the same. There is no difference at all between Hook and Fritz here. But even the legs don't want to move independently of each other very well. They seem to be kind of be linked for the most part. So these guys are real cheap. So I would guess that this black and white insert is the instructions, as well as some story. This is probably more story than this toy line required. Years ago, a huge comet hurling through outer space flashed across the skies of planet Airlandia and tore away most of its breathable atmosphere. It seems like an extinction event. The entire planet was thrown off its axis, and a series of devastating hurricanes, volcanic eruptions, and monsoons permanently altered the surface of the planet. In the midst... Wait. How would you have a hurricane if your atmosphere is gone? Oh. In the midst of this terrible upheaval, Aerozar, a high-ranking general in Airlandia's top-notch air guard, seized control of the government and established his own evil monarchy, taking advantage of a bad situation. The people of Airlandia fought back bravely, but these unarmed, peace-loving people were no match for the Emperor's well-equipped, well-trained tyrants of whim. Systematically, all who opposed Aerozar and his tyrants were imprisoned in the dungeons beneath his newly constructed air refinery. What is it refining the air from if your atmosphere is gone? Oh. The people of Airlandia banded together, determined to stop the evil Aerozar. This valiant group of rebels became known as the Air Raiders, trademark champions of freedom and justice. Together they battled the Emperor and his evil tyrants of the wind, trademark. I guess he hadn't trademarked Tyrants of the Wind yet. The Air Raiders' goal is to one day live in peace again and restore free air to free men everywhere. It's a noble cause. But this is called the formation of Airlandia, but Airlandia is the planet. This is really not a very tight ship here. Okay, and here we have the Storm Dagger instructions. Like how you use kind of CPR hands when launching the Storm Dagger on the launch tube. So you can probably tell that that wasn't going together very well. The whole thing is essentially held together by this locking tab, and everything else just kind of is held together by friction. You can see like the cockpit is only held in there just because it is smaller than the hole where it could get out. So amazingly enough, this is actually a piece. This incredibly thin thing that looks like it's all flash is really a part of this thing's construction. So the two ends of this purple piece are really what's holding the top together just by friction. And this is supposed to tab in to the back and hold into these really tiny rubbery slots. This is really difficult to show here. You see it just goes through these. So, I mean, it's pretty solid, but not much fun to put together. So it looks like you have a pilot and gunner position. It's kind of a rotating weapon in the back here. This guy has no seat to sit in, so he's just gonna rattle and flail around in the back. And man, it's not very easy to get them in there. He just kind of smushes in here. But again, they don't really have any way of tabbing in, so they're in for a rough ride. There's also these kind of lock-in missiles on the side that really stay in very well. But they don't have any power of air to fire with. So I've applied the stickers to the Storm Dagger, and I think it actually looks worse now. These are absolutely terrible. Just lazy, gross, miscolored stickers. Like, these don't match the orange at all. It's just disgusting. So the big test now is hooking this thing up to its air launcher, which looks like it actually does create kind of a seal. So let's see if it'll move. Yeah, you get about 2-3 feet out of it. And it also comes with this plastic straw. Pretty much it's just as a straw with a rubber tip on it that you can then put on your air launcher, and well, that thing really moved. So this small pamphlet was packed in with the Storm Dagger itself. Looks like it's a mail away kind of thing. What's this? Join forces with the Tyrants of the Wind. Get Evil Emperor and Baron Jolt action figures with battle accessories. Those are bad guys. The Evil Emperor and Baron Jolt are here. Get them only through this special offer. And is one of these guys? I don't know what's going on. The Evil Emperor Arrowzar, leader of the Tyrants of the Wind, and his sinister cohort, Baron Jolt, want you to help them command the Tyrants' forces and attack the heroic air raiders. They'll supply you with 24 air-powered missiles and a flying air-launched glider to ensure victory. There's even an awesome full-colored 18x24 relief map of Airlandia to help you plan your strategy, and all for $6 plus $1.50 for postage and handling. Remember, Emperor Arrowzar, Baron Jolt, and their battle accessories and the Airlandia relief map are available only through this offer and can't be purchased in any store. Hasbro was pretty fond of its mail-away stuff. Yeah, so this must be Evil Emperor Arrowzar and Baron Jolt. So the big bad guy was only available through a mail-away, unless he also came with a vehicle, and it's just another way to get him. And you get a bunch of... That must be what this is. It's just a box of plastic missiles. And lastly was this larger thing, new from Hasbro, exciting air-powered vehicles that you control. So it looks like this is just a big version of the back artwork. It has a checklist for the vehicles. There's the Storm Dagger, which I unfortunately own now. It's a nice print. Vehicles I'm not interested in. I don't know what this thing is doing. Maybe that's an air refinery. Who's shooting it? Who? This is really good. This guy doesn't even know. He's just giving up. Whatever. Just get it over with. I live on a planet with no atmosphere. Oh, and on the back we've got the product line to explain all my stupid questions. Twin Lightning, Thunderhammer. This is the Mana War. Oh, okay. So that hovering ball is probably like a really light ping pong, and there's a vacuum tube that I wonder if there's battery operated to keep it suspended. Yeah, hovering air-powered surveillance pod. So this thing had all kinds of pumps, it looks like, and hood ornament. Battle Dashers. The Storm Dagger is one of those. Bad guys had a couple. Command Outpost. This is the good guys base. Includes 5 of good and bad guys. I guess that was the one to start with. But oh, there is an air refinery. It's a sinister air refinery. And there's the other side of it, which looks like the kind of rocky crags that are on war-torn Airlandia. The Dragon Wind just looks kind of like a mess of stuff. So that looks like something that could have come from Star Trek The Next Generation, really. And this is the best looking vehicle, I think, is the Hawkwind. I remember a friend of mine had this, and this whole part here is the air bladder that's built in, so you kind of squeeze the back and it fires, limply fires these missiles off the wing. So that is the Storm Dagger from Hasbro's 1987 Air Raiders. Can't say that I'm really proud to be owning this now. I think the story is my favorite part just because it's so bad and full of holes. This has to be up there for some of the worst sticker applications I think I've seen. It looks like it don't even go to this set. And the figures are just atrocious. Yeah, there's a reason Air Raider stuff is so cheap, is because it's pretty bad. So, but I did want to check it out. It was something I remembered but didn't really know a whole lot about. Coming up pretty soon, I've got a whole mess of Swamp Thing cards, play sets, and figures that I'm excited to take a look at. I guess back to more gimmicky Kenner stuff, but you know, at least it's fun. Until then.